Happy Wednesday again, everybody. So let's go ahead and go over what the overall market is doing here. Looking at Facebook currently at the moment, as there is some information out that the U.S. is actually probing them on some data deals after hours here. So that's something to be very interested in. Overall market, like I mentioned last week, I was expecting a test of the 270s. We immediately reversed. I believe that was on Friday from the lows, and here we are back over the 280s now. So this is that area that end of last year was pretty much massive resistance. So we're going to go ahead and see how that reacts for this year. So if it does break out over, once we had that put, it's probably going to be onward and upward from here. So I'm not overly bullish or bearish in either direction. Just trade the trends as they come. Some interesting things to note. I think it was Aurora Cannabis today. So still an area of focus is all these marijuana stocks. For me, they had pretty interesting news today and finally had a decent move since consolidating in this 8 area for quite some time. So I think last week we had some very interesting runners. So BPTH was one of those names that where somebody took the entire float, whoever it may be, on day one. And once that happens and it rotates over and over and over and over again, 70, 80 times, these are the type of moves that are likely to happen. So low float mania is kind of coming back. SEEL was another one of those. So very, very interesting to see those often. So one of the things I believe next week is going to be the Lyft IPO. So quite a few different names like DCAR and HYRE. Are kind of moving already in sympathy of that Lyft IPO. So if that IPO is one of those things that is very successful, then I could see these other names making some interesting moves. So just kind of be aware of that. Bitcoin and the crypto market's still pretty silent. Been range bound for almost the entire year. So one of those things that wait until it makes a move, and then once it actually makes the move, then trade in that direction. So just keep focus on that area. Other than that, not a whole lot that's going on. Boeing had some serious things that happened today with flights being grounded with their new 737s across, I believe, the nation, if not the world, based off of the recent crashes that they had. So that's kind of been an area of interest. I think today they turned on the stock buyback program at some point during the day here after the Trump news. So that's going to be one of the things to pay attention to, because the volatility in this name, as you can see, it's the biggest weekly candle in volume probably in a decade, if not, even more than that, 20 years. So, big volume on that weekly candle. So something to pay attention to, as this name is likely to have some interesting whipsaws and a lot of trading opportunities. So hopefully that helps you guys out there. One of those things to pay attention to. Facebook, again, still a lot of the data sharing, and Google as well, getting hauled in front of Congress. I believe they had some interesting notes on not being able to essentially just answer questions directly. Still an area of interest to me. Finally retested that trend line as far as the peak out from the last few years. So one of those names that I'm kind of focused on, along with TTD in the ad tech space. So hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and I will talk to you next week.